So the Cool Kids are going to drop an album, and it's a triple album.
Doing too much.
That's what I wanted to ask y'all. So there's going to be, the first part is called Before Expletive Got Weird.
Okay.
And then the next two chapters are going to be, stuff, Before Stuff Got Weird. And then it'll be 2 solo albums, one from each artist. So
that's a little different then.
My question to you all is, you kind of hit on it, Terry. Is that extra or concept albums? Does anybody even care about?
Is it a concept album?
Well, they're calling it a triple album.
But it's not a concept.
That doesn't necessarily mean it's a concept album.
I'll say the concept of them dropping a triple album. I'll say it that way. Like, how many triple albums have we seen?
Well, it's not really a concept.
I mean, the way that
or the idea of a triple album.
Concept is generally like a Prince Paul album. That's a concept.
Or
album.
Nas Untitled or something like that. I see what y'all saying. I'm
like
using the wrong word.
American Gangster.
Right, that's a concept.
Jay-Z,
so I'm using the wrong word.
Nah.
But
just the idea
of a triple album.
3 albums in a streaming.
Well, the way that when you put it to me like it's a group album, 1 album, and then 2 solos.
Right.
That's a little different. I'm thinking it's like 3 albums of all just
like
Cool Kid stuff.
Yeah,
it depends on how they drop it too.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, because it says they're going to part 2 and it'll be a part 3. I just don't know. Like, you kind of hit it on when you were like doing too much, because I don't think now in the streaming era it's just people drop stuff. It comes out and then it's on to the next one.
Maybe they're just letting people know it's coming. I don't know. I don't know. I'm interested.
I'm interested.
I know I think there was some sort of weird issue with their name, I think is what it was. Like, they couldn't make music as the Cool Kids, which is why they stopped making music as the Cool Kids. Like, I don't know if they signed like an independent record deal or something like that. It was something weird which is why they went so solo. I think. I could be wrong, but I got too much random stuff in my head, but I'm almost certain that's why they didn't drop so many records. Dropping records for so long.
Those guys were always, you talked about it before we came on, about how ahead of their time they were and how unique their sound was. And they haven't dropped anything since 2017. Now this project with them coming back would have my attention way more than what we just talked about with.
Yeah,
Curtis.
exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
And like I said, no diss against the game
No,
or 50, but I'm much more interested in hearing the Cool Kids.
And I've already heard one of their singles, and it's really good.
Yeah, exactly.
So, it sounds like Chuck.
Oh, it
and
does.
it sounds like
production too.
That's what I mean.
Okay.
I mean, Chuck is a unique rapper, anyways.
Yep.
He's kind of, I don't know, he's different, but even his production is unique.
I don't think they got enough P's for the creativity in their production from, I guess, the masses, if you would. That was one of the things that drew me to them, is how unique.
I don't think they were big enough.
You think that's the case? Never got. I was living in Chicago,
so
they're
big in Chicago,
yeah,
but outside of that, I mean, they're in like almost pre-blog era, or like right in the very
they were right
beginning.
there at the peak of it too.
Yeah.
So, but I would say the peak, or maybe a little past the peak, is when they were dropping a lot of solo stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Sir Michael Rocks and Chuck English. He was producing a lot too.
I actually got a vinyl, Chuck English vinyl, that came out on Record Day one year. Back then.
I remember, to your point about the pre-blog and all that, when I was living in Chicago, man, it was, you couldn't turn from hearing the Cool Kids, hearing about them shows.
Right.
People trying to get features.
What was their initial big underground record? Was it?
Man, it's been
Was
so
it
long,
Go
man.
on the Pager?
Black Mags.
Black
Black
Mags.
Mags.
Black Mags
or
was
maybe
big.
it was one of those two. I think it was Black Mags.
But those records used to go
one of those two.
off, and they were huge there. I remember that era vividly. But this
Their sound is so unique.
Yes.
Like nobody. And we were talking about this earlier. Nobody really sounds like them, and still don't sound like them. Really.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised nobody's reached out to Chuck English for production.
Agreed.
I mean, we saw it for a while. I mean, we saw. Yeah, I think he worked with like Mac and a bunch of underground people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, cause there was a good, I think 3, 4, or 5 years where you would see Chuck's name pop up. I think Asher Roth even.
Okay.
You know,
and the artists that you're naming though,
they're super underground, but he was dropping a lot of stuff with a lot of these people.
And his production style and the lane that they carved out isn't necessarily for everybody. You got to be, I would think, you'd have to be a certain type of artist to want to hop on one of those. Like the the type of production that they have. Like when you say Mac, I'm like, that makes sense to me. I could see that.
Yeah.
But I don't think you could. A lot of these kids now, and a lot of the artists that come out now, I don't know if everybody's gonna be able to just hop in that bag.
I feel like it could be a wave though. Like I feel like they're just, I don't know, like it's just so different. I feel like it could catch on. I don't know. Maybe not super mainstream.
I got to hear that record that you're talking about now.
I forget what it's called. But
yeah, if you find the name of that, let me know because I want to check that out. But
It's Yours Part 2.
That's what it's called. Okay, might be in here. It is here. It's in my article.
It's co-produced by `𝗏𝗔𝗄.
Really? Okay. Heat.
Yeah, he's got heat.
He got heat. Let me see if the chat. They started the whole retro. Brothers to the Night. Yeah. Retro vibe. Black Mags.
Yeah, they did or were responsible for a lot of the retro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
definitely.
Brother to the Night pointed that out. Appreciate you.
But I feel like if they drop like their album and then they follow it up with like Chuck and Mikey's staggered, single wise, I think it'll be all right. If they drop it all at the same time, I feel like you're probably gonna lose a lot of that gusto. Maybe
a lot of music just to
it's a lot
to drop.
Yeah, unless you're gonna drop like a video or for everything or something with everything, which even still is. I don't know if I would do that.
That might be a super overkill with
the videos too.
Yeah.
Well, I've always wanted somebody to actually make a video for each one of their songs on the album.
Yeah.
And I usually when I listen to albums too, it's weird. I can visualize certain songs and how the video should look. And I'm surprised nobody's ever.
I feel like somebody's probably done it.
Well, Marcus Houston did it. That doesn't count.
Didn't Beyonce do it? I mean,
Yeah,
you're
she
talking
did that
about.
with,
I don't think
I guess
for hip hop.
Beyonce did.
She
do
did that
for
with Lemonade.
I think Ice-T did it. And I'm
Don't do that. Don't
I'm
do
not
that.
kidding.
Don't do
In
that.
1987, he did it.
I'm not kidding. I think
Ice-T ain't do no videos for.
I think Ice-T has a video for everything on the OG album.
Really?
I think he has a whole. Yeah.
How
He was
many
on Warner
songs is
Brothers.
on
He
there?
was getting.
How many songs is
How
on
many
the
songs
OG?
on that album?
Because I know I was
I don't
watching.
know about
I
that
was watching
anymore.
videos heavy then. I know I ain't see.
I think he put out. You had to buy the VHS, the OG VHS.
Oh, it's
What?
a VHS. I mean, that's kind of like Moonwalker,
Yeah.
or
And,
even Jay-Z. Streets is watching. If
Now
you're talking
Streets is
about-
Watching was dope.
Yeah, if you're talking
Yeah.
about buying something that a companion to the album per se,
Mhm.
but like just like if all of them were on like BET or MTV or something. You know what I'm
What's a
saying?
hip hop song that you would have liked to seen a video to?
Lots of them, really.
If I could think
There's
of
one at the top of my
WAP.
list.
Well,
your
wish has been granted. sir.
Yeah.
No,
yeah, you can go watch that now.
I always thought it would have been incredible if NWA did a video for Gangsta Gangsta. Because it's set like the way Ice Cube wrote that song is so visual. Like
Now you got me thinking, man.
I just would love to see a video for that.
Now you got me thinking. That's a good question.
I'd have to think about this because I don't really care about music videos like that. You know what I mean? Like in the sense of like
it.
yeah.
And it would have to be something
they're
old.
cool.
Like I
I
don't
used to
care
love
about now.
music
Yeah.
videos.
I used
though.
to, and I think they're important still. But
No, they're not really important.
I think there's still a place in marketing for them. I mean,
You do?
YouTube's still the biggest search
Yeah,
engines. YouTube's
definitely.
still huge.
That's part of why NBA YoungBoy is who he is, honestly,
Yeah.
because he does so well on YouTube.
Look, shout out to my man B Nasty, the blend master. When I was hosting the Busta Rhymes concert, he was playing the music during the whole time.
Yeah.
And they actually had his setup to where he was mixing the songs and
The
had
videos.
the videos on the big screens at the venue.
That's fine.
And I was like, I didn't know there was a video for this. This is
Yeah.
there's a lot of colorful stuff going on here, and lots of beautiful young ladies in these videos. I have to start getting back into
Scantily
hip hop
clad.
videos.
You know, he already puts out a lot of music videos, but I would say like I really enjoy Flying Lotus's approach to music videos. I don't know if
Yeah.
you've seen his, but they're just so
His are more
different,
like
creative and artsy.
some of them
and-
shocking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but they're always like super. Like he has one video that was done by the guy who made, I don't know if you've seen the Salad Fingers series.
I have not.
Right,
Red,
so Mike-
Red August laughing, so it must be something.
So like he did one of his videos for him, and it was pretty cool. It was like interestingly weird. Like all of his videos are kind of weird, but
Tyler the Creator does a good job.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, he does.
Tyler
I
the
have seen
Creator's
his videos.
visuals are always dope.
And even with his last
Earthquake.
album, I think he's dropped like 4 videos for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tyler the Creator does great with his visuals. Those help with the engagement, I think, with him. He's fire with that.
Yeah, as long
And
as
it carries over to the live performance too, because he'll set
Facts.
the stage up the same way as those videos, which is
Yeah.
dope.
So it's interesting that you say that though, that you think. I know a lot of people that think the opposite, like kind of like what Jay Moore was saying with the power of videos. Like, is there still relevancy there? Does
Yeah,
it
there is.
still drive engagement?
I think it might just be different than what we were potentially used to.
Videos just be.
I mean,
mad
videos
important.
pretty much ran the culture for a
Yeah,
minute.
yeah.
I
Videos
mean-
were important.
But you can still see, depending on who you are,
Yeah,
people are still watching them, and the numbers
Yeah.
are still
Yeah,
going
no,
up, and
I-
visualizers, even that's to the point to where people aren't even putting out like just straight singles of audio anymore. They're
Mhm.
putting visualizers on their singles, so
Yeah.
it's doing cool, weird stuff.
Yeah.
No, when you
Yeah,
go
yeah,
and look at
yeah.
YouTube and you see like videos from our era,
Yeah.
they've got maybe 10, 15 million views. You see something that's a hit now,
mm-hmm.
billions of
Yeah.
views.
Yeah, especially
You-
like K-pop and stuff like that.
I'm talking about I
BTS is
saw
cleaning up.
some Rihanna song had like 800, 900 million
Yeah.
views.
Certain artists are killing,
Yeah.
especially some artists that are like really bubbling underground that we don't even pay attention to.
They're able to get 4 or 5
Liar
million
eating.
views through YouTube.
Even that goofy Tom McDonald gets tons of views.
So videos are important. I misspoke. I think about it, and I
Yeah.
look about the analytics behind it,
Yeah,
and seeing what the numbers actually are, and the fact that when your video was getting played on MTV or BET, even though it's only just this little bit of money every time your video is played on YouTube, it's still more than what you were getting if you were getting played on MTV
Yeah.
7, 8 times a day.
Because I mean, the average Joe can put out a video on YouTube
yeah.
and be rich if
Facts.
it gets enough views.
Because once it go
Just reviewing
out of there,
other people's videos.
Yeah.
Like there are people who are making good livings for themselves
Oh yeah.
just by saying, "Hey, let's do a reaction video to." It doesn't even have to be music. They're
No, there's a
reacting to-
kid that's making millions of dollars by playing with toys and has his own toy line now at
Yeah.
Target.
So I mean,
I didn't know he got his own line.
yeah,
I
oh
mean,
no,
he got his own line.
visual media, honestly, and the DIY model can take you a lot further now than it could at any time in history.
And I think to your point, I think there was a time where music videos were an absolute necessity.
Definitely.
Agreed.
I mean,
Yeah.
because
And I don't
you
think- and I-
tuning in for a world premiere of a video.
Yeah.
It was huge.
And even within the last decade, they were still super, super important. But I think maybe the market share of it all is kind of like moved a little bit. Like it's not like it's the only thing that's important.
Nah.
Like, short form content is probably more important than music videos.
Yeah.
That wasn't always the case by any means.
Well, also,
So-
when you had if you were going to get a video, you had to get a certain level of film stock. You had to, go out and actually secure locations and this, that, and get permits. If you got the new
It was
iPhone,
a for real production.
if you
Facts.
have a new iPhone now, you can get out and shoot something that looks as good as something that was shot for $1 million in the 90s.
No, for sure.